Hey guys, Ethereal Dragon Gaming here and welcome to this video. Now in today's video we're starting a brand new series here on YouTube that is sort of inspired by the Grandma Shirley's book reading series on YouTube, where she sits down in a house on Skyrim and reads some books in Skyrim. But we're going to play a bit on that and make our own series inspired from that, which is the Dragonborn bookshelf. Because if you're not familiar with the location we are in, we are currently using the Legacy of the Dragonborn mod, where we're in the Dragonborn Gallery in the library room, the library gallery room of the Dragonborn Gallery, if that makes any sense. So that's why I want to call this series Dragonborn Gallery. So we're going to jump right into it, and I suggest the first book that we read would be the Book of Dragonborn. Seems as though this is called the Dragonborn bookshelf or Dragonborn Library or something along those lines. I'm going to call it like that, Dragonborn Library or Dragonborn bookshelf or something like that. Something with Dragonborn and something to do with books. Probably called Dragonborn bookshelf, to be honest. But yeah, what better book to start with than the Book of Dragonborn? So, let's start. The Book of Dragonborn by Prior Emmeline Madrine, Order of Talos, Wayne Priory, year 360 of the Third Era, 21st of the reign of His Majesty Pelagius IV. Many people have heard the term Dragonborn. We are of course ruled by the Dragonborn Emperors, but the true meaning of the term is not commonly understood. For those of us in the Order of Talos, this is a subject near and dear to our hearts, and in this book I will attempt to illuminate the history and significance of those known as Dragonborn, down through the ages. Most scholars agree that the term was first used in connection with the Covenant of Akatosh, when the blessed Saint Elisa was given the Amulet of Kings, and the dragon fires in the Temple of the One were first lit. Akatosh, looking with pity upon the plight of men, drew precious blood from his own heart and blessed Saint Elisa with this blood of dragons, and made a covenant that so long as Elisa's generations were true to the dragon blood, Akatosh would endeavour to seal tight the gates of oblivion, and to deny the armies of Daedra and undead to their enemies. The Daedra loving eyelids, those blessed by Akatosh with the dragon blood, became known more simply as Dragonborn. The connection with the rulers of the Empire was thus there from the beginning. Only those of the Dragonborn, dragon blood, were able to wear the Amulet of Kings and light the dragon fires. All legitimate rulers of the Empire have been Dragonborn. The emperors and the empresses of the first Cyrodiilic Empire, founded by Elisa, remain Cyrodiil and his heirs, and of course Tiber Septim and his heirs down to our current emperor, His Majesty Pelagius Septim IV. Because of this connection with the emperors, however, the other significance of the Dragonborn has been obscured and largely forgotten, by all but the scholars and those of us dedicated to the service of blessed Talos, who was Tiber Septim. Very few realise that being Dragonborn is not a simple matter of heredity. Being the blessed of Akatosh himself, it is beyond our understanding exactly how and why it is bestowed. Those who become Emperor and light the dragon fires are surely Dragonborn. The proof is in the wearing of the amulet and the lighting of the fires. But were they Dragonborn and thus able to do these things? Or was the doing the sign of the blessing of Akatosh descending upon them? All that we can say is that it was both, and neither a divine mystery. The line of Septims have all been Dragonborn, of course, which is one reason the simplistic notion of it being hereditary has become so commonplace. But we know for certain that the early Delic rulers were not all related, there is also no evidence that Roman Cyril was descended from a lesser. Although there are many legends that would make it so, most of them dating from the time of Reman and likely attempts to legitimize his rule, we know that the Blades, usually thought of as the Emperor's bodyguards, originated in the Akaviri Crusaders who invaded Tamriel for obscure reasons in the late First Era. They appear to have been searching for a Dragonborn. Events at Pale Pass bear this out, and the Akaviri were the first to proclaim Reman Cyril as Dragonborn. In fact, it was Akaviri who did the most promoting his standing as Emperor, although Reman himself never took the title in his lifetime. And of course there is no known hereditary connection between Sachets and any of the previous Dragonborn rulers of Tamriel. Whether there can be more than one Dragonborn at any one time is another mystery. The Emperors have done their best to dismiss this notion, but of course the Imperial succession itself means that at very least there are 2 or more potential Dragonborn at any time. The current ruler and his or her heirs. The history of Blades also hints at this, although little is known of their activities during the interregnum between Reman's empire and the rise of Tiber Septim. Many believe that the Blades continue to search out and guard those they believe were or might be Dragonborn during this time. Lastly, we come to the question of the true meaning of the Dragonborn. The connection with dragons is so obvious that it has almost been forgotten. In these days when dragons are a distant memory, we forget that in the early days being Dragonborn when having the dragon blood. Some scholars believe that was meant quite literally, although the exact significance is not known. The Nords tell tales of Dragonborn heroes who are great dragon slayers, able to steal the powers of dragons they killed. Indeed, it is well known that the Akaviri sought out and killed many dragons during this invasion, and there is some evidence that this continued after they became Reman Cyril's Dragon Guard. Again, the connection to dragons, the direct predecessors of the Blades of today. I leave you with what is known as the prophecy of the Dragonborn. It often said to originate in an Elder Scroll, although it's sometimes also attributed to the ancient Akaviri. Many have attempted to decipher it, and many have also believed that its omens had been fulfilled, and that the advent of the last Dragonborn was at hand. I make no claims as an interpreter of prophecy, but it does suggest that the true significance of Akatosh's gift to mortal kind has yet to be fully understood. When misrule takes its place at the 8 corners of the world, when the brass tower walks and time is reshaped, when the third blessed veil and the red tower trembles, when the Dragonborn ruler loses his throne and the white tower falls, when the snow tower lies sundered, kingless, bleeding, the world eater wakes and the wheel turns upon the last Dragonborn. So, that was the Book of the Dragonborn, and this was the first episode in our Dragonborn bookshelf series, so I hope you enjoyed it. And please suggest in the comments down below what books you want me to read, and I'll have a look see if I've got it, because I've got quite a few books. But if there's books that I don't have that you may suggest me reading, you can suggest me to read. I can go out in between recordings or while I'm streaming or something and search for books and try and find those books around Skyrim, buy them, or go into caves or dungeons and try and find them, or just suggest more books down below to read from future episodes. And I'll see you guys in the next video. If you enjoyed this, then please hit the like button and subscribe if you want to for more cool content like this. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.